Hi there, I'm Isaac. I am the game director for Fae Farm.
So Isaac, this is a really interesting departure from what your studio is normally known for. Talk about Fae Farm.
Well, so Fae Farm is a cozy farm sim adventure set in the world of Azoria, and you can play single player on your own, or you can play with up to 3 other friends for 4 at a time.
Cool thing about this is like there are a lot of Animal Crossing vibes, cozy vibes, farming, collecting, dating. But your game is much more interactive than other farming sims I've played out there.
I'm glad you think so. We like to make sure that the gameplay is really, the game feel on the gameplay is really central and core to the experience. And we don't want it to feel too passive. We want it to be engaging, but we also want it to be really approachable. So we've done some really clever things with our tooling system so that you don't have to do a lot of control fiddling, as a fixed camera, all to sort of make it so as many people can come in and play as we hope will.
So the staples are all here. Can you talk about the fishing, the mining, all that good stuff?
We definitely have some good genre staples. We've got some really good fishing, we've got some really good critter catching. There's a lot of animal care to do, a whole bunch of animals, some magical, we'll be talking about them soon. We have some cool dungeons to explore that have lots of cool mining and resources. It's a big world that feels like a giant playground to jump around and find things.
You guys have a very elaborate character creation system. Talk a little about that.
Yeah, the character creator, we really want to make sure that players can find themselves in the game, and so we do have a lot of options. You can select your pronouns, you can select whatever body type and voice you want, you can wear whatever clothes you like. We want you to feel comfortable and welcome.
Now, I know it may sound silly, but what did you learn off Dauntless that you brought with you onto Fae Farm? I know they're 2 different genres, but what did you learn?
Well, this one definitely doesn't have the existential dread of Dauntless, but it is still very stylistic artistically. The game feel is really paramount, and we want to make sure it feels good just to get around and do all the major actions in the game. And really at the heart of it's being able to have fun with your friends, whether you're going out and smashing a bunch of behemoths or you're just sitting together and building a homestead together.
Can you give us a picture of the challenges when you're making like a farming sim game, specifically because there's so many items and formulas and values? Like is it a big spreadsheet you have in the office? Do you draw it all on a board and because there's thousands of items?
There are a million spreadsheets and a million boards. It's complicated, but hopefully for the player it doesn't feel complicated, and it just feels like a robust, deep set of content to explore and give you lots and lots of hours of entertainment.
Is it hard balancing that? Like if it's too much or not enough, micro things like logging, too many minerals, not enough minerals?
Yes, it is complicated. Because you want players to have all of that depth, but you don't want it to feel like you're just grinding forever just to make the basic thing that you need, like a refining station, crafting station, what have you. So we feel like we've got it in that cool little in-between spot. Another one is like time of day in games like this is really tricky. Is a game day too long? Is a game day too short? And we have it tuned to a place now that we feel it's working really well.
Now, how does the co-op and online work? Because there's other games out there that make it kind of tedious to enter other people's areas.
We're trying to do the exact opposite. Good learnings from Dauntless. Unlike Dauntless, this is a premium game, and so it's not a free-to-play online experience. It's hosted on the person with the save game, so that's peer-to-peer, which means you can play local multiplayer or you can play online multiplayer with anybody you like. You can invite up to 4 people at a time within a game session or play on your own. So there's a lot of flexibility. You can have one save game that's just all about your solo session, go romance some NPCs, and maybe you have another save game that's about building this huge, lush set of homesteads with your friends.
How are people able to interact with your world when they're on your game, in terms of trading items or assets?
It's totally open to use all the same equipment, and in fact, you have a lot of the same shared objectives to go through the main story in the game. And it's trying to align interests so that players can either kind of Katamari ball through actions to try to get through them more quickly, or they can distribute. And someone really likes to go fishing, cool, you can go fishing. I'm going to go hang out in the dungeons, get a whole bunch of cool mineral resources, and we can kind of divide and conquer that way if you want.
Yeah, we're playing it on Nintendo Switch, but do you have plans for other platforms for Fae Farm?
We are on the Nintendo Switch.
Good, okay, moving on. What are some of the challenges of making a farm sim game in 2023?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is just making a really good game. That in and of itself is really hard to do. And in a genre that there are a lot of entries over time, and they're huge fans, including us, of all of those games, this was in a lot of ways a love letter to the genre and trying to take all the things about those games that we've really loved and some of the things that we found a little kind of maybe fiddly and irritating and smooth out the things that we didn't like as well and really embrace and enhance the areas where we really loved it and just try to make as great of a game as we can.
And would you have a planned release date, open beta?
We will be releasing later this year.